We call them the Millennial generation, but that's not really fitting. A more apt name is the Quixote generation. Nothing proves this more than the most famous scene from Cervantes' novel Don Quixote. Quote, at this point, they caught sight of 30 or 40 windmills, which were standing on the plain there. No sooner had Don Quixote laid eyes upon them than he turned to his squire and said, Fortune is guiding our affairs better than we could have wished. For you see there before you, friend Sancho Panza, some 30 or more lawless giants with whom I mean to do battle. End quote. And so, too, before the eyes of our millennial generation, they see millions in a war against women, a mob of angry white men ready to brutalize minorities, feral hordes of police hunting young black men, a country inundated with legions of bigots, and an education system designed to keep young black men from power. They see this no matter where they look. Don Quixote's portly sidekick Sancho Panza tries to give his lord a dose of reality. Quote, but look, your grace, those are not giants, but windmills, and what appear to be arms are their wings, which, when whirled in the breeze, cause the millstone to go. Now, many of us have yelled at our frenzied co-nationals, pause a moment before you attack the foundations of this country. You should know your beliefs are delusional. The wage gap is mostly a myth. White cops are more likely to kill white men. In fact, they kill more unarmed whites each year than they do unarmed blacks. Meritocracy is real. Many minorities make more money than whites and often go to better colleges and graduate at better rates and get jobs in better fields. Those are windmills you are charging at. It is plain to see, said Don Quixote, that you have had little experience in this matter of adventures. And likewise, our angry millennial generation rages back at us. How can you not see that women are treated like second-rate humans in the United States, that 1 in 3 women are raped, that cops shoot and kill thousands of unarmed black men each year? Never mind, it's only 16 last year. That the university is a dangerous place, that the movies we watch, the music we listen to, and even math class are all racist and biased, that there are actually no-go zones for Muslims in America, and that white men in general dominate us. Back to Don Quixote. Now back to Don Quixote. Quote, saying this, he gave spurs to his steed, without paying any heed to Sancho's warning that these were truly windmills and not giants that he was riding forth to attack. Nor even when he closed upon them did he perceive what they really were, but shouted at the top of his lungs, do not seek to flee, cowards and vile creatures that you are. End quote. And so, then, our millennials torch and burn the university and town squares. They try to ram into their make-believe KKK members, Nazis, rape mobs, white supremacists, gay-bashing posses, and fascists. And like Sancho Panza, all we can do is watch them charge at their own projections and fail. Quote, he bore down at them at full gallop, and fell upon the first mill that stood in his way, giving a thrust at the wing, which was whirling at a speed that his lance was broken into bits, and both horse and horseman went rolling over the plain, very much battered indeed. And again, so too this Quixote generation are hammered by reality. Stats and facts are thrown at them like the windmill arms struck our gallant knight. They are demolished in debates and end up as fools in endless YouTube compilations. God help us, exclaimed Sancho. Did I not tell your grace to look well that those were nothing but windmills? A fact which no one could fail to see unless he had other mills of a sort in his head. And so we tell our millennials, we are not really smarter than you. That's not why we win these arguments. You just have horrible, baseless, desperately emotional thinking. How you view reality is diluted. It is only what you wish it to be. You want to live in a dangerous world so you may feel righteous for saving it. Indeed, real giants and monsters do exist, but you must travel to distant lands to meet them and to fight them. There are no such things really left in America. If there were, we would be fighting them with you. Be quiet, friend Sancho, said Don Quixote. I'm sure this must be the work of the magician Freston, who has changed the giants into windmills in order to deprive me of the glory of overcoming them. Okay, fine, the millennials say. There isn't blatant racism anymore. It's systemic, it's gone underground. The racists have shapeshifted. They are still bigots, but it's actually found in coded language now and how men gaze at women. That's where the bigotry and sexism is. We remember when Barack Obama was called cool. We saw right through all of that. The right has performed a magic trick. It's all just an illusion. So we shall continue to come after them with a great vengeance. Now, Don Quixote, along with his other fantasies in the novel, believes he's also on a mission to save Lady Dulcinea. In truth, she's another figment of his imagination and doesn't exist. She naturally doesn't need to be saved. And verily, our Quixote generation has their imaginary damsel in distress too. Who or what is this damsel? It's utopia. It's the equality of results. It's everything you hear every conservative commentator constantly remark upon, the motives and intention of the left. This is a generation that lives in a time of radical equality and progress, some of the best times in human history. But like Quixote, who got lost in his books about chivalry and subsequently lost his mind, who felt the age of the knight slipping away, and with it, his chances for glory, so too does this generation look back on the real dragon battles of the 1960s with nostalgia, and hence they become our modern-day delusional knights, charging at windmills, creating monsters out of anything that sits on the plains of life before them. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe.